on corruption and public accountability. We live in a society where there's an alarming rate of corruption. We have seen monkeys and snakes swallow money in this country without any consequences. And in this part of the world where we live, people see elected and appointed offices as an avenue for them to amass wealth at the detriment of the people. And this, of course, has created the problem of trust between the leaders and their followers. Is this how we'll continue to live and, of course, continue our journey as a country if indeed we are desirous of having any semblance of development in the country? I'll be having this conversation with Otumba Muyiwa Ogunlaja, is a policy development analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, my dear. Good morning.
Okay, while making my intro, you giggled, but my first question this morning will be, why is it that in this part of the society, we find it very difficult as leaders to actually come to serve the people and be very accountable when given the opportunity to serve at any level in the country?
Thank you. Well, there is this saying that the people deserves the leadership they want. And I think I want to lend credence to that saying that most leaders who should be out to serve and be held accountable for their actions have not been allowed to do that by the people they are supposed to actually serve. I know of an instance where politicians visited an area where they had public health center. In that public health center, there was no medical doctor, only a nurse, and even no drugs. I was part of that entourage. I was expecting people to say that in this hospital, no doctor, just a nurse, and there are no drugs. Instead, the leader were hailing and they were saying, our bags, our Ghana must go bags, our envelopes. They were after what they will get after our departure.
Instant gain.
Instant gain, and not what they will gain by our coming. And how do you now hold such people accountable? Especially when money has been set aside for that particular purpose. So instead of using the money for the purpose meant for, it will be used for nothing. I want to recall what happened to a prominent politician in Nigeria from the East who had some money to equip a teaching hospital in his own area. Instead of using the money for that, squander the money. The need came for that hospital to deliver a particular service. He couldn't get it, he had to travel. And the process, cat was let out of the bag. And the gentleman is still somewhere here now. So what I'm saying is that most of the time people do not allow politicians to do what they should do. And politicians too, because of what they will gain, divert money meant for such capital, people-oriented projects that they should be held accountable for. And equally do that as what I call gifts to what I call, I will not call them gifts, maybe persuasive gifts to their followers who should hold them accountable. So most of the time it is what you do that you get. The electorate actually needs to be reorientated and know exactly what to do so as to hold their leaders accountable.
Oh, okay, so in essence, what you're saying is this, that the followers themselves are also culpable because of the unnecessary demands that they make from their leaders, which seem to put them under pressure. But when I look at the way and manner we fight corruption in this country, sometimes it is laughable for me. In my intro, I did say that we have seen situations in this country where monkeys and snakes had swallowed a huge sum of money, and at the end of the day, nothing happened. Does it appear to you that as a country, as a society, we are indeed very determined and serious about tackling corruption as we speak?
You cannot tackle corruption the way we're doing, and I don't think we are really serious about it. You can only tackle corruption if there is transparency, and if the enforcement structure is on ground and can be adequately implemented. If there's no transparency, if enforcement cannot be adequately implemented, then you cannot fight corruption. Corruption will just be, it will just keep on spreading. Let's look at the idea of transparency. Now, how many agencies do actions or transact business in such a way that everybody will see what you are doing. How many government projects do you know the cost, the time, the duration, how the money will be sourced, how the money will be dispensed? I mean, even local governments
How the contractor will be selected.
will be selected.
Yeah, but they'll tell you they have
process,
procurement officers.
They will tell you, but do they follow that process? Do they? And when the processes are not followed, has anybody been bold enough to blow the whistle? I will actually blow the whistle when the person who did the last one has been kidnapped, is no longer to be found, or something has happened to his family. I have seen instances where you make reports, and before you say Jack Robinson, that same report you've made under secrecy, the person involved will come and challenge you, say, I've heard you, you have gone to report me, I like that you have said this, that, okay, you see. Who want to make another thing? So there's no transparency. Secondly, there are no enforcement procedures. How many people have been dealt with and have been made public to the people? If someone has been caught embezzling money, where is he? Is he in prison yet? Is he behind bars? I have seen many people who have been accused of money laundering or embezzlement who are now contesting elections again. Some of them have actually been made leaders, coordinating chairmen of political parties for the election. And they have millions of naira embezzled. The question is that they have not been found guilty. When will they be found guilty? Another one is that timeliness is important. If someone is guilty and promptly prosecuted and promptly punished, others will be discouraged. But in this country, a particular case can be the front burner and will be there for about 15 years. Even the lifespan of that person who will have enjoyed the money, and by the time you say he's guilty, the man is gone. So the next person will now say, okay, let me do the same. Let me embezzle money so that I can enjoy my life. By the time I am gone, they now say, yeah, I'm guilty. By that time, you are gone. So the point is that there are no good enforcement machinery in place. Transparency is out of it. Even where you are asked to, where you have what is called the Freedom of Information Law. How many agencies will avail information about any contract? If you go and ask, all they will tell you is that the contract has been awarded to so and so, so and so. What about the terms of payment? Have they been paid? How much have they been paid? Up to what stage? I know many roads in my own area that on paper, you find it in the file, it will be already tarred. And these are roads that are not even seen, they're not seen laterite, not to talk of being tarred. So these are the issues. But if you now go to complain, that complaint will be traced to you, and you now put your family at risk. So that is the problem. So until there is a total reorientation, where in this country, people will be ready to say, I want to bail the cat. Where in this country, those accused will be properly brought to book. Where those who are brought to book will be seen to be serving the punishment, then others will be deterred. Until that happens, we are still playing.
I love the example that you gave earlier. We have seen in this country wherein the then chairman of a particular political party said it's at a campaign ground that once you cross to their party, your sins will be forgiven.
Imagine.
And then we also had a recent example, it's still an allegation anyway, in the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, who was alleged, rather, to have used the state fund to pay the school fees of his children in advance. And yet we still see this man around the corridors of power.
Yes.
So what are these political class? What kind of message are they sending to Nigerians, like, we don't care, or corruption is the order of the day, so let's do it the way we want to do it?
The message is clear. The message is that when you are with them, you are covered, and nothing will happen to you. If you are not with them, you are in trouble, so you have to join the bandwagon. So the question is that it kills this idea, it kills your willingness to, or your ability, your resolve to be righteous. Because you are now saying, if you want to be righteous, you are seen as being an idiotic fellow. You're not even an outcast. That, don't you see what others are doing? And where your children see this, they will now laugh at you. That, daddy, my friend's dad brought this car to the school today, and this and you are still there. You are talking about transparency. You are talking about being pious. You are talking about not being involved in corruption. So the question is, it's killing it erodes confidence in government. It kills intuition. It kills hardworkiness. It makes you feel that you don't have a say until you join them, and it's not good for the country. And it means that corruption will keep on being with us until we're all resolved to do that. And how can we resolve to do that if the truth is not told, if justice is not served, and promptly served for that matter? So I think we have a long way to go. I just want to believe the government can do a lot. Government can start implementing a number of measures that can reduce corruption. Government can look at civil servants pay and make it what I call livable wage. For now, it's not. The moment you get your salary, you pay house rent, you buy fuel for about 1 or 2 weeks. That's all.
So how do you survive?
How do you survive? So you are being told, and when you have actually put 35 years of service and you are going on retirement, your money is not promptly paid. So for those who have seen their colleagues or their senior colleagues, they will not want to fall into that again. They want to prepare before they leave. How do you prepare for they leave? They start doing what they shouldn't do. They start pilfering. They pilfer, or they steal, or they bury the money. And when they pilfer, if they don't give it to snakes to swallow, they'll give it to monkeys. And at times they go to the burial ground and bury them so that they can go to heaven. And when they get there, they spend the money. So that is it. So the question is, we have a lot to do. And it starts with the government and it ends with the government.
Okay. So people have also alleged that the civil service is very, very corrupt. I wouldn't know if you agree with that. And if you do agree, what then is fueling the corruption that we have in the civil service? That is one. And on the other side, what are we lacking as a society because of the high volume of corruption that we have with us in the system?
Thank you. It is a very wrong, sweeping, damaging generalization for anybody to say that civil servants are very corrupt. I'm not saying civil servants are
saints.
I have not said so. Even amongst the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ, there was a Judas. So if Jesus could have a Judas, who says that civil servants will not have Judases amongst them? There are. But to not say that civil servants are corrupt, I totally disagree. When you want to see corruption, go to the political class. You will see mother of corruption, if not the father of corruption.
Yeah, but they cannot work in isolation.
They do. They do work in isolation. They work in isolation because the moment they come in, the first thing they want to do is to push aside competent civil servants. I said competent civil servants, professional civil servants. They now bring in their colleagues who are in banks, who are in industries, who are in private sector, with whom they have had these anti-panky games, and who can be trusted by them. They now bring them to the service and give them that post that professional servants should have. They bring them in as deputy directors, assistant directors, and then so that they could have what to call smooth sale of their projects according to them. So when you now have those ones there, when they now misbehave, because they are now public servants, it is now generalized that public servants are corrupt. You will not see a hardcore public servant who joined the service as a graduate on level 8, who moved to 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, that will be as corrupt as those who came in as assistant directors or deputy directors. Yeah. So it is the same class, government, that is fueling corruption by not making good use of those trained, disciplined civil servants and just using those who infiltrated the service, all because you needed them to achieve their ends. And anyway, Machiavelli said it: the end justifies the means. Maybe that's why they are what they are doing. And also for the society,
what we are lacking as a result of corruption.
Yes, we lack a lot as a result of corruption. Number one, we lack good governance as a result of corruption. Number two, we lack health facilities as a result of corruption. There are many facilities that are meant to have been provided, but instead of coming with first-class facilities, they will bring in either second class or third class. We equally lack good transportation. Some of the trains that are now derailing, it's not because they are not good, it's because when they were laying the rails, not first-class rails were laid. Even the trains, not first-class trains were bought. I remember a time when the gentleman who was supposed to be Minister for Aviation said Nigerian Airways had been repackaged, and he brought a plane from Ethiopia and brought it to Nigeria. I saw Nigerian Airways. It stayed there for 2 days. The third day it was gone.
And it disappeared.
It disappeared. So what are we saying? So the point is that there's corruption everywhere. I also remember the gentleman who was supposed to really be a minister for justice, and when he was caught with all this, with that what I call humongous amount of money, it was first he said that they were given to him by his friends. Who are your friends? Corruption is taking advantage, undue advantage of your position to amass wealth. If you now use your position to get some people to be your friends, you are still corrupt. You are still corrupt. So the point is that the nation, the society will suffer a lot. It will affect the educational standard of education, even in schools. Thank God that of the recent overhaul of education of university system in Nigeria, there was a time in the university where it is sex for marks. You see many pretty girls coming out to first class, not because of their brains, but because of the services they have rendered. You see many dons, what they call dons, extremely dons, dull students, men who will come out first class upper, second class upper, or first class, not because they were brilliant, but because they could buy new set of tires for their lecturers, they could equip their flats. But those ones are now gone, all because of the mass of the social media and because government took it seriously. So there is hardly any phase of human endeavor that has not been affected by corruption. It's even affecting homes. And the corruption happens to everybody. It can happen to anybody, anywhere. Even amongst pastors, we have corruption. Men of God, we should be good examples. We have corruption. Even amongst prostitutes, we have corruption. So what tells you what I say? So it has eaten deep to the fabrics of Nigerian society that if you are not very careful, one day it will boomerang. And when it does, it will be like the Iran-Israel-American war will be child's play when it does in Nigeria.
Okay, so it is what it is. We have found ourselves in this mess of corruption and lack of public accountability on the part of those we have elected and appointed rather, different tiers of government. So it is usually said that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But then I've seen people also accuse the judiciary itself of being corrupt, of being a major element of aiding corruption in the country. So who will salvage the situation at the end of the day? Should we still look up to the judiciary to help us in fighting the problem of corruption in the society? Because it is when, okay, I cited an example on this show, I think it was the day before yesterday, when we had a legal practitioner here. Somebody will have been alleged for corruption and then taken to court, and at the same court, the person will be allowed to do plea bargaining. They will share whatever he or she has stolen into two, and they will be told to go and say no more. So where lies the trust of the people in the judiciary?
It's unfortunate that, as I said earlier on, that corruption permeates every sector of our society. It happens to anybody and everybody. It can happen anywhere, in the church, in the judiciary, in schools, hospitals, at homes, even on even football field. You have corruption. I have seen matches that the results have been pre-planned. The referee already knew before blowing the first whistle who will win the match and by how many goals. It is called match fixing. They do it. I have seen instances where even at homes, where you have 2 or 3 wives, and the third wife will so do that she will be pregnant, and the scan will read, I'm expecting a baby boy, knowing full well that the husband is expecting a baby boy. So there are many instances like that. And as for the judiciary, it is true that the judiciary too has been affected. But the question is, it's like Nigerian police force. If you say that members of Nigerian police force are corrupt and they are not working, if you're in trouble, call on armed robbers to come and assist you. You can't call on armed robbers. You still call on these policemen. So the judiciary is still the last resort. No matter how corrupt it is still the arm of government that will give you justice. It is true that some are corrupt, but not all. I know there are some fearless judges who give judgment the way it should be. But some are so cantankerous that you don't want to see them. And the way they give judgment, you want to ask yourself, are these people really learned, as they have said, or as they have called themselves? All this plea bargaining, an offense is an offense. Even with your plea bargaining, you should still be punished. Until this is done, that's what I've said, corruption will keep on to be with us because there's no transparency and because the measures meant to curb corruptions are not implemented. Until you do the enforcement of all those caught, of those guilty, then you are not going to discourage corruption. And that's one of the reasons why people say that a gentleman who stole just maybe a dog or maybe a dog, just because he was hungry, you sentenced him to about 7 years for stealing.
And we have a politician who has billions.
Billions. And you're asking him to go home and steal no more because he has done part payment, plea bargain of which money? Of the money he stole. Somebody stole 100 million. He decided to return 70 million. The remaining 30 million, is that his money? It's a public money. So you have not done anything. So until we have this case where everybody is equal before the law, which is almost impossible, especially in Nigeria, then corruption keeps on to thrive.
Okay, so how much of our value system have we lost because of this corruption and the lack of public accountability? And what examples are we setting for the next generation of leaders in Nigeria?
We have lost almost everything in our value system to the extent that if you have when we were in school, especially after the university, we were looking forward to our first car to be a Beetle. Not that there were no Mercedes-Benz then. Not that there were no other Porsche cars then. There were. But we knew that no matter what you do with our first salary, you could not get on that one apart from a Beetle or a pony. There is this car called pony car. Just about 1,000 plus then. And that you need to save for about 3-4 years to get it. But go to the universities now. Ask anybody, any girl graduating next year, or any boy, that what will be your first car? It will be a Lamborghini or a Mercedes-Benz S-Class or this or that. Nobody will tell you that you want to start with a Beetle or with a Nissan. If the person mentions any Toyota, it will be a Toyota Jeep, a Prado. That's it. So we have lost that because of what you are saying. When you see a young man who before election was begging, and after winning the election, becoming member of the House of Assembly, the next thing is that he will move from Ajegule, where he has been appointed, to Banana Island after 6 months. After 1 year, the person is already erecting a building along Nandasikwe on the island. He's ready to buy a Toyota Prado, and you're not asking someone who has worked for 10 years in the civil service to just fold his arms and be looking. So the question is that it has affected our values to the extent that even those who wanted to be very righteous, who wanted to be hardworking, will no longer want to do that. If you go to the outside world now, most of our medium and small scale enterprises, we used to have apprentices. You hardly find any apprentice now. The other day, they are doing Yahoo. They are doing this currency. They are trading in cryptocurrency. They are into foreign this. They are into all these schemes. They call them fast money schemes.
So the quest for wealth is also part of the corruption.
It is. No, corruption has increased the urge for wealth. Because those who are not corrupt were just there and they were seen as failures of the society. Whereas they should be seen as the saints of society and they should be acknowledged.
As role models.
They should be celebrated. How many times have you seen the federal government or state government giving honor to a market woman, a woman selling pepper on the street? How many times? Tell me that. Are you saying that she has not contributed to the economy? How many times have you heard that someone selling pure water or cold water or tuture has been commended in a society? No. And all those on the commendation list will either be a senator, as a representative member, an ambassador, a principal of a school, a visitor of a university. What are you saying? And I know then get there on merit. So the question I want to ask is that until we recognize activities,
hard work,
it will be difficult. This gentleman in the studio now, are you saying they are not hardworking enough? How many times have they been deemed for honors, for celebration? They will not. Whereas a gentleman who calls himself a worldwide tailor or designer will be shown all over the world as doing this, as doing that. So the point is that there is corruption everywhere. And unless we come to the brass track, that let us say this country must develop. Let us all have a rethink. Let the government equally do the needful. Let the government provide the necessary wherewithal. Let the civil servants be adequately paid. Let the market women be recognized. Let those who are found to be corrupt be adequately punished and be seen to have been punished. Then we will be saying we are starting somewhere.
Okay,
and let powers be distributed
evenly.
In a situation where you have, for instance, just of recent, I learned that government has budgeted about so billion for anticipated strike against Ebola.
10 billion naira.
10 billion naira. And just a gentleman has been put in charge of that.
The chief of staff.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you not telling me that, yes, Obi has come for those who know this man? So are you not promoting corruption? Let's say the truth. Or what you talk about a situation where powers are so
concentrated.
Are so over concentrated that an agency like NNPC could play with billions of naira, or because you want to do what's called change of name of an NPC. What you talk about the Southeast Development Commission that rented just a room
for 153
million naira. What are we saying?
But the Senate is probing that.
So well, so these are the questions. Until we say that let this country survive, let Nigerians equally survive, then we are going to be in trouble.
Okay, in our quest for survival and of course having some kind of sanity in our society and restoring our value system, what do you think the National Orientation Agency can do in this direction to reorientate both the old and the young?
The National Orientation Agency used to be an agency after my heart in the past, especially when we were doing this jackpot syndrome. When Andrew don't check out, there was that particular that people were made to stay at Nigeria and see Nigeria as theirs. Equally, when they came up with this song that Nigeria is ours, but now I think they have gone to sleep. But for that agency ought to have started a number of enlightenment campaign to let people see that it is foolish to just amass wealth. They should show what happened to the estates of the likes of Akala, the estates of the likes of
the former CBN governor.
Yes, former CBN governor, and even the one that died and that had about 300 new cars in his compound that eventually they have turned to carcasses. So when they do that, people now say, what is the sense of keeping all this money? Eventually, I will die. Others who don't know anything will fight for my money. Look at what is happening to the children of Akala now. If you look at the children of the very respected legal luminary who could not decipher what to do with his will because of. So the point I'm making is that when they do that and they let people see, and they should now go to those who are honest, those who honestly live their life. I know that General Yakubu Gowon, up to some time, had just only one building. I like the life of someone like that. I know that Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, when he was governor, was riding at his Toyota, what we call that vehicle? I think Toyota Crest, a particular vehicle. That was the one who was riding before he became governor. He continued to use that same vehicle when he was governor. He did not live in Lukweju, where he was staying before becoming governor. So these are the lives of people that should have been, that start to showcase. So people now say that it pays. I look at the honor people have given, I give it to that name. Anywhere you mention Jakonde, it's with respect.
But some of these politicians, they use his name to campaign. But they are acting contrary to his own belief.
Yes, that is where the electorate needs to come in. If you have used someone's name to campaign and get my vote, and you're acting contrary, what stops me from withdrawing my support for you? At worst, you'll be there for 4 years. you will not go the second time. But in Nigeria, we are so quick to forget. The moment the second time is at hand, and you can give me a loaf of bread already stocked with watts of 100,000 naira notes, I will just forget and go and cast my votes again. So the point is that poverty is a problem. And maybe one of these where government is not trying to curb poverty. Because if poverty is curbed, people will be able to think straight. But for now, with poverty, you can't think straight. How would you want someone who has not taken anything since yesterday morning and now wants you to think straight and say, I want to cast my vote according to my conscience? When the conscience is suffering, you must take care of your conscience, and that's it. So when government decides to provide the necessary, a standard of living, increased standard of living, provide the necessary wherewithal, definitely we'll be able to fight corruption and not hands to be on deck. That is not to say that corruption cannot be dealt with.
But it will be minimized.
Yes. If government, private sector, individuals, if you want to resolve to say, you want to stop this, it can be minimized. Although it cannot be totally eliminated. Okay. Not even in the best of countries.
Okay, so as we wind down on this conversation now, is all hope lost?
Not lost. Not lost. I do not believe that.
And can hard work still pay?
For now, in this country, hard work does not pay. And it will not pay. Because for now, the damage has been so much done. That even laborers, carpenters, bricklayers, they find it difficult to have apprentices. Because this one's hard work. And to those apprentices that should have joined them, that hard work does not pay. They will tell you, Oga Lukman, who has been doing the bricklayer's job for the past 30 years, is still riding a white bicycle, which is true. Whereas Lukman, maybe Kafaya, who just of recent decided to go to politics, become a woman leader, second, become a treasurer, third, a representative, is now riding a Prado Jeep. So cannot even sign her name. So the point is that until we recognize hard work, people will be discouraged from doing that. But I know it is not the end of the road. It can still happen. It's just the result for all of us to say that let us improve on this standard. Let us be hardworking. Let us stop the idea of just praying to God alone. No, we should pray to God, but it's not just prayer. Hard work, commitment. Let us do the needful, and let government punish offenders, and let the society say that offenders are punished, are brought to book. Then they will say, because of this, what that man has done, look, this is what is happening to him. I don't want to do it too. But if I see those who have embezzled money, and they are being heralded, they are being celebrated. And as soon as you're out of prison, people go outside and buy Ankara for me. Buy Ankara and put Ankara and let us meet at LTV Blue Roof. Come and celebrate my arrival. After squandering money, then you're in trouble. People will not want to be truthful. Because if that is what it takes to be accepted by society, let me do it. That will be the.
All right. Before I let you go, let me ask you this very important question. Another round of election is very much around the corner. Yes. We have started seeing the political class playing their game, and of course, some of them will come with vote buying and different kind of tactics. So, yes, for an average Nigerian who is watching us right now, who are complaining that their governors are not performing, those that are representing them in the National Assembly, they are not performing. What is that key message that you want to send to them this morning so that we won't have a repeat of what we had in 2023?
The key message is that we should try as much as possible to base our casting of votes on performance of the party or of the individual. One good thing I know this federal government has done is to give states more than enough money to be able to impact on their people. But how many of them have utilized that money that way? Not many. If you take away some states like Lagos, perhaps a state in the east, Abia, one or two in the north, others are not. They are just gallivanting, and it's not in the best interest. Unfortunately, all those governors gallivanting, all those states misusing money, doing what I will call
white elephant projects.
White elephant projects. Because I wonder why there are some state projects that are not, I can't explain it. I don't know what use an airport is for Ogun State
I know
when
the state.
Ogun is as close to Lagos as it is. When other things could have been done.
And we still have some roads that are untarred in Ogun State.
In Ogun State, out of every 10 roads in Ogun State, 9 and a half are bad. So what are we saying? But because when you
So
start the roads,
what's the
when you
essence
start
or the
roads,
result
you
of
will not
getting more
get
money?
enough. You will not, all the more money you get is, you see you can see the display of the money. If you don't see the display of the money on TikTok, you see it on Instagram. You will see governors dancing one day here and there. Some of them actually go for dancing competition. And when they do, Oshun will suffer for it. Some others will suffer for it. So, well, a word of advice. Let people know how to cast their votes. Cast your votes for those you know have been tested and trusted. Although, most of the time, your votes may not count. But I have the belief that this time around, it will count. And do not allow the present insecurity to make you feel I will not go and cast my vote. It is one of the political gimmicks they are using so that you can be scared and say, let us do this. But cast your votes based on what you think should be done for you and not what you want people to gain from it. So when you do it correctly, you will have initial setback. But after that initial setback, you will gain from what you have done.
Okay.
So think of your future, think of that of your children, who will gain if you cast your votes correctly.
All right, so it's on that note that we are going to end the conversation on corruption and public accountability with Otumba Muyiwa, Ogunlaja Policy Development Analyst. And, he gave his own piece of advice to Nigerians, and of course, especially now that we are looking at another round of elections in the country, and of course, the political class will come with their tactics to vote by and, of course, do all sort of things to ensure that they return to office. Well, it is left to you. If you want corruption to continue, then what then do you intend to enjoy as a Nigerian in the society that we find ourselves today? We thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, my dear.
All right, we'll take a very quick break. When we return, Joy will be standing by to take you through our own conversation. Do stay with us.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.